Now to a question which has got people scratching their heads for centuries. Why humans appear to be the only mammals with chins? Well, now researchers think they've come up with the answer, that it may be down to the fact that we started cooking food. Matthew Skinner is a senior lecturer in human evolution, the School of Anthropology and Conservation at the University of Kent. He explained to me a little earlier what this study means.
Chins as a byproduct of other things that have been going on in our evolution for the last 2 million years. And so what we see first is the beginnings of the use of tools by our ancestors. And what that allows us to do is to process the foods we eat outside of our mouths, unlike other primates that have to use mainly their teeth and jaws to process the hard foods that they eat. And because we can use, for example, stone tools to do this, it means that it's much easier for us to eat some of the tough foods that enabled us to evolve in our evolutionary history. And what that means is that you see a reduction in the size of our teeth and jaws through time. And it's certainly the case that among our ancestors, humans have some of the smallest teeth and jaws around. And I think that the chin is actually a byproduct of that process.
And a byproduct in some way of us cooking our food?
Yes, it certainly could be. I mean, by cooking your food, again, you make it much easier to process. You don't have to chew it as much. You imagine if you had to chew on raw potatoes all the time, how much hard work that would be and how it would really require you to have strong teeth and jaws. Whereas if you cook those potatoes, they become much softer, and it allows us to have smaller teeth and jaws which aren't as strong.
And are our chins still developing in any way? Because you do see many kinds of chin around, don't you?
You certainly do, and I think it would be very interesting to expand on this particular study and look at variation within males and within females, and how many differences we see in the types of chins that we have. But it is the case that all humans do have a chin, and that is a uniquely human trait that differentiates us from not only our closest ancestors, but also all primates.
And do the different chins that we see on different humans tell us anything about individual kinds of humans?
I don't think they do. Well, more research needs to be done to determine what can influence the shape of our chins. That could be due to particular cultures. Maybe they are chewing a lot of hard foods or using their mouths even as tools in the work that they do, processing different objects, and that results in very high forces being experienced by the teeth and jaws, and that might cause the bone of the jaw and the mandible to remodel over time and change its shape. So I think it's an open question what the underlying cause is for the differences in chin shape that we see within all modern humans.
And just briefly, Matthew, in your studies of evolution, are animal chins developing, mammals in particular? Are there mammals who are likely to end up with chins something like ours eventually?
I don't think so. The big difference and the thing that makes humans unique is actually that unlike most other mammals and certainly other primates, is that our faces don't stick out from underneath our brains and our skulls. And I think part of the reason we have a chin is that our faces have gotten a lot smaller and they've sort of retracted and become much flatter. And then you end up with this chin, this bony chin, as a byproduct of that process.
So if that had been worrying you, now you know. Matthew Skinner there, senior lecturer at the University of Kent.